Hey, please let me know if you see my screen.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool, cool. All right, awesome. So this is lesson one. We are entering into a new mentorship session. This time we're going to be talking about Power Apps. If you haven't been part of any of the Zero to Hero sessions, this is open mic. 1 hour. We used to do this once a week, and now we are doing it twice a week, just so that we can add more content and then potentially run multiple sessions throughout the year. So for this run, we're gonna be meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 2 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. GMT. Again, like I said, it's open mic. I'll be talking about some topics, and the speakers also who follow me later on down the line, they'll be talking about some topics. And at any given point, you can raise your hand, pose questions. We're gonna have a time dedicated for more open conversation where you can potentially showcase things that you have done in the past. If you have questions, you can answer straight to the speakers. Anybody in the group that has answers to your questions, feel free to chime in as well. This is for us so that we learn more. And although a lot of the speakers will present here, they are well known in the community for the content that they provide. There isn't really a Jedi of sorts here with the group. There isn't really a person that knows it all and has all the answers. This is a community effort. It's for everybody to add, and we gain more when everyone participates. All right. So today I wanted to lay some foundation groundwork when it comes to app development. We're gonna take a step back um, and look at the subject of digital transformation. It's going to be a lot of concept, but it's to set our mindset into app development. When it comes to app development, the app itself is perceived as the end result of the process, but a lot of other things goes into developing an app. Having the vision for the app. What is it supposed to accomplish? Who are the stakeholders involved? Who's going to be used that? So on and so forth. So we'll take a step back. We're not going to look at app development directly today and how to do that using Power Platform, but we'll take a step back and talk about concepts around digital transformation first. Okay. And if it's boring, bear with me. This is the one class that may feel like a college lecture for the start, but everything else should be loads of fun. Okay. All right. So let's look at this, and let me make sure I have my ducks in a row. Yeah. All right. PowerPoint, don't disappoint me. Where are? Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so digital transformation in a nutshell, we hear this a lot of time, the buzzwords around digital transformation. But essentially what it is just an integration of technology and people. And that is my definition. You don't have digital transformation unless you have the human factor involved. And one of the speakers that I listened to, he said the companies who are considering digital transformation, they should explore the why behind the trouble. Why do we have to implement the system? Why do we have to implement this app? Why do we need to do that at this time in our history? Should we do this now or later? So we need to explore the why before we dive into technology and try to solve a problem. So that is first and foremost. A company that's ready to explore digital transformation, they should also be prepared for failure. Failure in this process is not a sign of defeat. It's rather an invitation for improvement. So and that you can take on to your personal life. You tried a test that I believe Roxanne was talking about, her first certification that she wrote and she passed it. Congratulations to you, Roxanne. It's not usually the case for other people that you write the first exam and then you pass on the first exam. So I wanted to encourage, if you tried one of these certification exams before and you fail, it's not because you have any kind of deficiency. It's maybe that you have focused in one area of the certification, and Microsoft is kind enough to tell you which areas you need to improve. So do not give up. I have failed certifications before. All right, so. And I don't know if that if that encourages anyone, but a lot of us have failed in the past, and you just keep on going. Why does it matter? So most of the IT leaders they understand that consumer behavior, and it could be consumer of a retail organization or just your internal customers, if you will, that behavior for those customers changes all the time, you know. And to give us an example, and I know you don't want to go back there, but 2019, 2020 changed the way that we thought about behavior in general, and that has impacted IT greatly. IT maybe was one of the industry that had to respond to that particular change um, the fastest, to create solutions, to create ways for people to work from home, to work anywhere they were, to provide systems for exam booking and vaccination booking and so on and so forth. So we had to adapt quickly. Digital transformation really empowers organizations for that particular velocity in change. Now, like I said in the beginning, digital transformation is not only technology, it's a different mindset for organizations that includes IT and human. So human is a big piece in the equation of digital transformation. Okay, digital transformation is not something that's coming down the pipe. It's already here, and it's here to stay. So the fastest we accept the fact that change is constant, and we as professionals are able to react to change and provide solutions, the better we are positioned in this industry. Okay, Victor, you talked a lot, you said a lot of things, but can you show me the money? This is where essentially there is value to us and to everyone who's participating in this program. So those numbers are, I believe, outdated now. But I'll pick Gartner update in 2020. The Gartner organization said that about 25% of the apps that is developed from 2020 until 2025 would be developed by using no code and low code technologies. What that means is that if you are an IT professional or programmer, you need to revisit technologies, app development technologies, and get up to speed on these technologies as well. If you are not in IT, but you work in business, you should visit these technologies, because almost every single application that will be built by 2025 will be built using these technologies, and most likely it will be built by folks who are not from IT, that don't have the IT background. Okay, I've seen it. It's 2023 now, 3 years into it, and I've seen it. I can be honest with you. I think from 2018, I've seen doctors building apps. I've seen lawyers building apps. I've seen admin folks building apps. So you name it. A lot of folks are getting into it, and there is a lot of money to be made in this industry. So app spending is forecasted to reach $270 billion by 2025. And if 70% of those apps are built using low code and no code, you can do the math. You see, there is a lot of money within that particular arena. Then they say global spending in digital transformation will reach $2.8 trillion by 2025. I don't know if your paycheck has that many zeros, but that's a lot of cash. That's a lot of money available in digital transformation. Now, that doesn't only include app development or process development or automation, but the whole subject of digital transformation, which could include training, culture, corporate culture, that is, app development, so on and so forth. So it's a lot of money within this industry to benefit us. Okay, let's move on. Um, there are lots of myths and buzzwords around digital transformation, and you've seen it before. RPM, AI, cybernetics, uh, and blockchain, Bitcoin. Maybe not as much today, but a lot of words that people use to describe digital transformation. And there is a lot of gray area when people talk about it. They say that if you implement a particular application using this frameworks, that you are successfully applied digital transformation. So I don't think that's completely true. The fact that someone is using cloud technology, does that imply that they have applied digital transformation within their business? I don't think that's always true. So we started this conversation saying that digital transformation is the combination of technology and people. So to fully apply digital transformation, you have to consider both ends. You have to prepare your company, the people that work there, to have a mindset of always to be looking for ways to improve processes. And that could include technology. Maybe it's just changing the process where people is involved, adjusting pieces here and there, and then apply digital tools to make the process better. So if you hear the buzzword, don't assume that a company is truly applying digital transformation practices to get an end result. By the same token, building an app doesn't fully constitute that you apply digital transformation to your company processes. Okay, so I classify digital transformation as fully implemented if these four pillars have been applied to a company. Strategy and vision, this is the first one. A company must have a digital strategy. They must have they must set up digital focus and invest on those. Okay, a lot of the businesses that I've been able to help in the last few years, they started in the digital transformation journey by selecting a particular area that they wanted to run a prototype just to prove a concept. To prove a concept. So they would pick a process and say, okay, let's apply digital transformation to this process. Once they were successful, they would go back to the drawing board and establish a digital strategy. Can we come up with a centralized repository of information so that any other system or application or automation that we build can refer to that centralized location? Okay, some companies call it the main brains. I had a company call it the hive. So they would pick a name of the central location of data that any system or application that needs information would refer to at first. And if the information wasn't there, it was available in another system, they would make it part of the digital strategy to take those data elements and bring it to the central location as well. Okay. So next we have people and culture, investing in training for folks, the people who will consume or use the apps and solutions, the folks building solutions, and finally customers and external customers, people who will consume the solutions outside of the organization. Then leadership also needs coaching on this particular area. You need to have leadership that's fully invested in digital transformation. They don't have to buy all the tools at once, all the bells and whistles, but they have to have vision for it. They have to see what the company can benefit from by investing in digital transformation. And then finally, culture. Most of the customers I worked with in the last 3 4 years, from the get go, they separated out a team of professionals to become the digital transformation board or committee, okay, or whatever cool name you can give it. The agents, so the companies, they have different names for it, but those that particular team would be comprised by business folks, citizen developers, okay, IT folks to oversee development. They don't necessarily have to have hands-on development experience there, but it's nice when they know about the tools and they can provide guidance to citizen developers. And then finally, leaders in different departments that can bring the requirements or list the needs that this particular company may have. Okay, then processing governance. Now, this is the secondary area or stage in digital transformation, but it's still very important. Mindset for innovation that needs to be ingrained in process. Okay, people should look at process and see the repeated activities, manual activities that can be automated. I can't remember which company said this. I don't know if it was Microsoft, but they made a statement that I always remember. They say if we have to do this manually more than 2 or 3 times, we need to write automation for it. So that's how serious they take um, process reinvention, if you will, or process innovation within the organizations. Okay, change management. We need to have a plan for change management when using, when applied digital transformation. Microsoft has made it super easy for folks to develop applications, to develop processes, process automation, so on and so forth. But a lot of times the story stops there. You can build an app, you can build it in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but you don't know how to maintain that app within the scope of application lifecycle management. Okay, it's not that it's important to know how to build the app. It's as important to know how to maintain. When somebody asks you to make a change, where do you make that change? Which environment do you use? You have just one environment. What if the change that you made breaks the application and you don't have a full um, application life cycle scoped out and in place? And then governance. Governance is key for digital transformation. Uh, Companies usually get on board because they see the value of getting things quickly done, but then you may run into scenarios where the proper licensing wasn't applied for a particular solution. Okay, I'll give you an example. I had a customer who needed to display Power BI dashboards to a handful of people, and the person who provisioned the environment started buying licenses for everyone that they thought would need to access the Power BI dashboard. So the company was spending a lot of money, and at the time there wasn't really governance around it, so they didn't know where the money was going. So governance is key. Knowing, who's going to use what kind of licensing that you need. In terms of execution, if you're using a tool that you're paying per execution, how often a process is executed, how can you really tighten this configuration so that you pay exactly what's needed when it's needed. Okay, so governance is key um, for digital transformation. Technology and capabilities. You need to have people in your team that I classify as disruptive technology enablers, people who are able to think outside the box. And maybe some of you, and hopefully all of you, will become those enablers. Okay, people who can see a problem and instead of saying, "Oh man, I don't think we can do anything about it," that's the end of it. Now, people who can look at it and say, there is a way to do it. Maybe we'll not get 100% solution in this particular implementation or cycle, but we can do this. We can get this company up to speed, maybe running 80%, 90% of what they requested at first, and then work on the rest of it as you go, or maybe engage a pro dev to do the rest of the work. But it's very important to develop this mindset of solution building, you know, or even desire to have that mindset. Uh, so on technology and capabilities, it's important for companies also to invest in platforms. And we'll look at some examples here down the line. And apply digital service mastery. So digital service mastery, I classify as a life cycle of discovering, implementing digital or writing digital strategy, implementing it, and then refining that strategy in delivery. Okay, and it could be that the digital strategy today is to aggregate data. That could be a digital strategy. How do we get to digital service mastery? Taking that strategy, bringing the data to a place where everybody knows about that data, collecting enough information, clean information, and then using that information to increase business to the company. Okay. And it could be in the form of making processes more performant, or just rendering information that the company can use to sell more what they offer as products. Okay, any questions so far? Comments? Nope. All right, we'll keep on going here. All right, people in technology. Out of those pillars that I talked about, the only one that I wanted to extend more for us is the concept of people and technology capabilities. The other ones, they relate more to the CEOs and CTOs and director of IT development. Maybe we have some here. We can talk about it later on at another class. But I think it's very important for us to talk about people and technology capabilities. So I believe back in the year 2000s, we started to hear about agile development, and it was a huge paradigm shift for developers, for project managers, for business analysts. It really shifted the mindset around how we documented and developed software. Back up until then, we talked about using, waterfall type of development practices where a customer needed to provide all the requirements, all the documentation before, you know, companies would start to develop it. And then the mindset shift to give us the requirements, classify which is what is important, and will put those requirements. Will take the priority and then put into buckets so that we can develop it. Make it sprints. You can see the value of your investment faster and get going a lot faster than you would if you waited for the whole product to be done. So that's essentially agile development. You prioritized backlog with focusing on deliverables, and you deliver that incrementally. Okay. Now, with digital transformation, there is a new way or method of applying agile development, and folks are calling it hyper agility. What it means is, think about agile development on asteroids. Okay. Not only the customer is able to prioritize a backlog and give us what they need to be done first, but we in turn can look at what's being requested and seeing who can benefit for it the fastest. And you not only prioritize the requirement itself, but you use priority categorization based on what's being requested, and also who is the stakeholder that will pick up that feature once it's done. Okay, so it shifts the mindset a bit from give me your top 10 priorities, let get it done. If I have capacity, we'll get all 10 done, to give me your priority and give me the team that's most critical to see some of these activities or features completed first. So you make a better impression to the customers, stakeholders, not only to the main requester, but to the people who actually use the system by combining the two. Does that make sense to everyone? So, and I think this is a mindset that citizen developers they need to get into, because not only you're gonna look good to your boss, your direct boss, but also the people who are on the floor using your software will be happier, because you know the ones that are needing this the most, and you are developing with the mindset of I shouldn't say pleasing, but attending to those stakeholders. Okay. All right. How can hyper agility affect my career? Now, besides understanding the priority of the backlog and knowing who that is that you're trying to please or to attend first based on the company's guideline, there are tools that will assist you in becoming hyper agile, if you will. Okay, and you have heard of them, maybe used them in the past. Low code and no code tools, but there is also a rise of AI tools that can help you in your day-to-day job. If you are online, you probably heard it about Chat GPT 1,000 times in the last couple of weeks, right? If you haven't, what it is there is a chat that's powered by AI that essentially you can ask a question or provide a statement, and if it relates to technology, it will create what you just asked about, right? It's not perfect. Somebody in my home country in Brazil, he sent me a joke. He asked a joke. It's like one of those kids joke that you don't want the person to you expect the person to answer a certain way so that you can crack a joke, and the bot didn't pick it up, right? So it's not super smart. It doesn't know those nuances yet, but it can get a lot of stuff done for you. I've seen it write plugin code for Dynamics 365. I've seen it write JSON payloads, so people didn't have to prepare those payloads manually. I've seen a video where it created a Power Apps, a Canvas app application. So it's there, and we can't really deny. All right, I have somebody calling me out of the blue. Hopefully they will shut it off. Sorry about that. Um, and so I don't think AI will take your job, but somebody who knows how to use AI will. It'll be similar to someone who knows how to find code tutorials and videos explaining particular parts of the technologies that we use today. All right. So I wouldn't be resistant to using these tools. I rather invest time in exploring them because they are here to stay. Okay, and that's gonna help you become even more. It will help you increase your performance as you work on apps and such. Okay. All right. Low code technologies and no code technologies. What you see here, and I try to make this as big as possible. Hopefully, you can read it from there. You see a set of low code technologies that are available in the market today, and they are grouped by the type of technology that they represent. So you have workflow automation, IoT, marketing, e-commerce, so on and so forth. And I can bet that some of you have used at least one of those tools in the past. All right. I've used, where is it here? Zapier in the past. I was using that in conjunction with the trials with the flows when they were on trials as Microsoft flows back in the day, right? But ever since then, I quit. So you have tools available in the market. Maybe some of your customers use them today, but they are spread out. You don't see in this box a company that appears on all of the boxes combined. You just don't have it. Okay. and you can look for it if you want. But this is the challenge with low code technologies today. There isn't really, well, except one. There isn't really one company that offers all of the tools in one box. Okay, so you came to this course, and we're not going to talk about these different tools, but one, or platform rather. We'll be training you within Power Platform, more specifically Power Apps. We'll talk about Power Apps, Canvas apps development. We'll talk about model driven development. I'm not sure if a lot of you have explored um, model driven development before, but we'll talk about those two technologies. But we'll try to make these lessons not only about the technology itself, but the broader picture. How do I apply the concepts that I learn in these classes within the whole digital transformation story? I don't want to just learn how to build an app. You know, you can get a video online on YouTube and learn how to do that. But we want to broaden our mindset a bit more to understand how can I do that within a corporation? How can I do it respecting basic software development aspects, ALM, governance, managing data, respecting data normalization. So we want to learn the whole picture, not only how to build apps. We have folks here from Brazil. It's a trend in Brazil now. Anyone who starts building Power Apps, they come up with a paid class and they charge money. They say, okay, learn all that you can in one day, and become the master of Power Apps for, I don't know, $200. I don't believe in that. Okay, I don't believe that anybody can learn all there is to learn about a technology in one day. It takes time to learn these things, and we don't want you to learn just how to use a formula in Power Apps. We don't want you to learn how to make your app look nice in Power Apps only. We want you to learn why you need your app to look great. What color schemes will make your app more pleasant to whomever is consuming it? How can I organize my UI so I can guide my user through the process? We want you to learn the whole thing. So sorry if this lesson is boring, if there is a lot of like just talk in it, but I feel like it's necessary. I believe in the whole package and not just facets of a particular technology. All right, any questions so far? Comments? I wish they had like throw a rock as one of the reactions, or a tomato maybe, if you are not liking the presentation.
I
Just
like
kidding.
it. I like it. I think it's a really good foundation, Victor. I think you're absolutely right. It's about mindset. It's not just about a technical capability. It's about being able to go out there and do this for real, right?
Yes, because what we are seeing in the industry today is that people they go through these classes, and I'm not diminishing anybody's work or courses or anything, okay? But folks go through the classes, and they change their job title. They are now intermediate or senior Power Platform consultants, but they probably never built a real app in the business world, okay? And then they join a company and fail, right? And now both the company and the professional are mad. One is mad, the company is mad because they didn't get the value they expected from a particular professional, and the professional is mad because they thought they learned, software development in the real world. And we don't want it to happen. We want everyone to succeed. When we title this program Zero to Hero, we are not calling people zeros. Okay, this is not our heart. We are not diminishing anyone. What we are trying to say is, I understand that I don't possess all the knowledge, and I can assume that I have none, but I want to learn. And I want to achieve that hero level while I go through these classes. Okay, so this is our goal. So I encourage you, as you go through the program, if you have questions, um, uh, uh, every question is a good question. Okay, we are going through this particular program from different walks. I've been in software development for the last 25 years. I'm only 28 years old, so I started young. Just kidding. But a lot of the folks who are here, they're just starting, okay? And you shouldn't feel ashamed of asking questions that you may deem as not of value for everyone. So ask your question. You are encouraged to ask whatever questions you have, and we'll try to answer to the best of our ability. Maybe some days we'll admit we don't know the answer to it, okay? But we'll research, and maybe someone in the audience will also chime in and provide an answer to it. Okay, so this is for you. We want to make this the best experience for you. I hope we can attend to your expectation, and everybody can benefit from this classes. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today. For next week, we will dive into and look at Canvas apps and model-driven apps. Most likely, we'll start with model-driven app. Reason being is because we wanted to build a model, just a simple table that we can then present on the two apps, and we can look at the difference between the two and how to customize the two. You notice that it's different. The way that you're doing Canvas is not completely applicable in model-driven app, so we want to look into that. The following week, Chris Huntingford is going to dive into app development, but data, taking a data first approach. What that means is there are these expressions in software development. Um, One being um, you develop your software writing your tests first, that is unit tests. You develop your software doing code first. You develop your software from the UI first, so on and so forth. What Chris is going to do is he's going to look at data, developing your data model first, and then you build the app. Okay, may not be the reality for everyone. Maybe you're starting at a company that already has a database, but I think it's necessary for us to look at that from that aspect. If you're starting an app from scratch, it's perfect to look at the data model first, because then you can tweak the data model, decide what kinds of data elements you want to include in your solution. Okay, so he's going to be doing that next week. So I'll do uh, key difference between Canvas and model-driven app. Chris is doing data first app development next week, Tuesday and Thursday, and then I believe Gita is doing a session that's called Powerlicious. I believe just tips and tricks on how to develop sexy apps, I guess, good looking apps. So she'll be doing that, and then we have a lot of people presenting thereafter. The schedule is built and signed off by the speakers, but I had other speakers approaching us and say, "Hey, I have this one topic. Do you have an opening?" So we may extend from March 21st, maybe a week or two later, to talk about things that I believe are important. Just to give you a sneak peek, one of these speakers is publishing a lot on a combination of Power Apps and Chat GPT. How can you ask the bot to build an app for you? So he's gonna do a session for us there. But I will send you updates, okay? If we extend the program and which days we are extending into, so that you can participate. If for some reason if you miss this live lesson, it will be published on the YouTube channel. You can catch up later. It's a way for folks who are out of our time zone or even England's time zone to follow up with the program. But I really love when you are here live with us. It adds to the dynamics of the class. There's always good questions that you provide and answers to. So it will be great if you can be here with us live. Okay? So that's all I have for lesson one. Wow, we have 17 minutes. If you have questions, I see some on the chat. Let me read them up. Maybe we can try to create an app as we follow along and have a presentation at the end of the course. That is a great idea, Mary. I think that would be awesome. We tried to do that last time. I got mixed reactions. Some folks said, well, I don't have time for homework. I'm already out of school. I don't want to go back to the school mode. So maybe we do it as a soft suggestion, I suppose, as a suggestion rather, that we build an app as we advance, as we track along. And I'll share this with the speakers so that we have one common story as we get there. Maybe we won't have a lesson that requires homework next week, but as Chris starts to present, we'll use his model as part of the lessons moving forward. Okay? And then the best app will get a prize at the end. Maybe we'll do that. Okay? How's that sound? Maybe a book or something else. How's that sound to everyone?
Yeah, we like prizes, Victor.
All right, we'll do a prize. We'll do a prize. Okay, I'll make I'll wear a wig as part of a prize for the last lesson. Just kidding. We can do books. We could do vouchers. We have a channel with Microsoft for certification vouchers, so that could be done as well. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Thanks, Cheryl, for sharing the YouTube channel. All of the videos from previous sessions are available there. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out over there as well. Anybody else has a comment, question, anything you want to say? You can do it on mic or you can write it down.
I make a question for you, Victor.
Okay.
You did not see it in the chat, but I changed the text. My question is, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge in preaching the concept of governance in companies? Because, as you know, the companies did not too much believe in these concepts of governance or LLM because they did not see the things working, what's working, and what is the biggest challenge for you to learn to preaching these concepts from these companies?
I think the first is the pocket. Okay, if you can show them value in applying governance, for example, you could show them that by enabling COE, for example, it would be easier for you to identify drainage of resources. You know, maybe processes that are not being used or being used for people that don't need them, licenses that are available that they don't need. So the pocket is one that usually gets folks more attention at first. The second one is man, I forgot the terminology, but to ensure business continuity. So a lot of companies, they don't think about solution management. To be very practical example, they don't think about solution management or rather application lifecycle management when a deployment goes south and it breaks the system. So it's hard to sell that to a company up until it breaks, right? And we don't want it to break, but you could use the opportunity of a failure to tell the company, look, we can make this process smoother if we apply ALM, if we apply solution management. And then you can go as deep as you can in that particular process. You can suggest, okay, let's just do, you know, managed environments to facilitate deployment. Let's do Azure DevOps pipelines deployment, depending on how much resource that company has available to invest in governance. But I would use the two approaches. One being the pocket, you know. You don't have to guarantee that you're going to save money, but you can tell, look, right now I cannot say, I cannot tell you how many licenses are being used, But if we apply this particular technology that doesn't cost you any money, just my time to implement, then we can tell you how much money we can save. That would be the first one. And of course, the second was more tragic, but using an example of a failed deployment to push for ALM strategy. Anybody else? I heard someone, but I couldn't hear your voice clearly. I guess not. I guess we don't have any other questions. Well, I'll give you 10 minutes back to you, Dave. That's my first gift to you. And we'll see you on Thursday. Okay? You have a good one.
Thanks,
Thank you
Victor.
very much.
Have a good rest of your
Thanks,
week.
Victor.
Thank you,
till
Victor. Thank
Thursday.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Victor.
Victor.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks,
Thank
Victor.
you.
Cheers, bye.
To you, Gabby.
And you, Cheryl.